Suffering servant. It was the final week of Jesus' life, and he had gathered with his disciples to share one final meal with them before he would enter into his suffering. Just a few days earlier, he entered Jerusalem with the cheers of the crowds waving palm branches, shouting, "Hosanna to the Son of David," Matthew 21, verse 9. For those with eyes to see, this was the Messiah coming to Jerusalem at last, but they missed it. Jesus would enter into the temple and declare it corrupt, chasing out the money changers. Trouble was in the air. Then he sat at a table with his disciples, took bread, and broke it, saying, "This is my body, which is broken for you." 1 Corinthians 11, verse 24. Brokenness was not the posture of God's anointed Messiah. The Messiah was to break Israel's enemies. Yet God had a different vision of what it meant to be the Messiah. On several occasions, Jesus shared with the disciples that the Messiah must suffer, saying, "Behold, we are going up to Jerusalem, and the Son of Man will be delivered to the chief priests and the scribes, and they will condemn him to death, and will hand him over to the Gentiles. They will mock him, and spit on him, and scourge him, and kill him, and 3 days later he will rise again." Mark 10, verses 33 and 34. Jesus understood that in order to deliver Israel, he would need to take a different journey than his contemporaries expected. Like David before him, he would represent Israel in battle. However, in this battle against sin, he would take upon himself the suffering of his people, the penalty of their sins. Israel had known the consequences of her actions, separation from God, and a lack of the blessings that came with his presence. Jesus would enter into that darkness and take up in himself the brokenness of the people. As Isaiah foretells, all of us like sheep have gone astray. Each of us has turned to his own way. But the Lord has caused the iniquity of us all to fall upon him. Isaiah 53, verse 6. Jesus would enter into God-forsakenness on our behalf so that we would not have to. He would allow the punishment intended for all of humanity to fall upon him, to remove that punishment from those who would come to trust in him. This week's readings help us to understand that the Messiah would first have to suffer many things in order that we might be brought into a relationship with God.